Hey everybody, this is Dax. You or you, glad to have you back. So, as you all know, I've been doing the funny side of Grace, calling it Funny Grace, doing my reactions on her just being funny. Well, there's that other side of Grace that I love so much. It's the serious side, the candid side, the frank side. So, I'm starting a series calling the series Frankly Grace. And it is that sort of dichotomy in her personality of being grounded and very straight talking, and then the other side of her personality being funny. And I've been giving this some thought recently about how all the greatest comedians that I've ever watched have a very serious side to them. Some of them take the serious side a little bit too far, like Richard Pryor and even Robin Williams, I suppose, and others, genius comics, but they have a really dark side. With Grace, it's not a dark side, it's just a serious side, a grounded side. And I think you have to have that serious side to be funny. And I see that in myself. I'm actually a pretty serious person, but I'm also a very light-hearted person. But Grace does it in an extraordinary way. And I think it gives her like this serenity to her soul, to her being, that allows her to stop and quietly express herself so ingeniously musically. Anyway, so her personality, because of her great art that she puts out, I'm just really curious about her personality. And that's one reason why I'm doing these reactions to her personality. I'm not even sure I'm going to do that on any other artists that there are. Anyway, this is a podcast that was done with CBS March 30th, 2018. I got this off of Sam Borgman's site. Thank you very much, Sam. Appreciate that. I actually put this in my archives about 6 months ago. I've been meaning to do this for a long time. I watched just a couple of snippets of it to see if it was what I really wanted to do. If it really kind of brought out her personality, and I just loved how frank she was. So yes, so it's going to be Frankly Grace, and let's watch this. I think I'm going to do the whole, it's a 40-minute interview, so this is going to be a long reaction. So here we go.
That's pop sensation Grace Vanderwaal, who became an instant star at 12 years old. She won a season of America's Got Talent in 2016 by showcasing her original songs and raw singing ability.
Just want to say real quick, this is March 30th, 2018. So Grace is just barely 14 years old in this interview. It's astounding.
Music mogul Simon Cowell called her the next Taylor Swift, and Rolling Stone says she's a pop prodigy. Vladimir Duthier of our streaming network CBSN met the now 14-year-old musician who's just trying to be true to herself. Vlad, good morning.
She is indeed. Good morning. She may be young, but when you listen to Grace Vanderwaal, you can hear a bit of an old soul in her music. We met the singer-songwriter at her home outside New York City. She's got one foot in middle school and the other on center stage.
You've had this incredible career, but I've heard you say that you weren't really sure that you even wanted a full-on music career, that you wanted to do some other things.
Well, I'm still like really young, like extremely young. So you never know. I might go out and do something else.
Yeah, but the next something else is you're going on tour with Imagine Dragons.
Yes,
I just want to say just how matter-of-factly she said that. Well, you never know. I might go out and do something else. This is something that keeps her grounded. Just that complete frankness with herself about who she is. It's like, I'm not really sure yet. I'm not wedded to anything. Let's see how this goes.
so excited.
Tell me about it.
What do you want to know?
Well, what do you think? What are you excited about?
I'm excited to just perform. I love performing. It's always been my favorite. And so this isn't...
I just want to stop again. He mentions Imagine Dragons and what she's expecting, and she says, like, what do you want to know? You know, how many artists do that? I mean, how many artists actually come back at their interviewer so nicely, so frankly, and just say, what do you want to know? 14 years freaking old. Amazing.
Really going to be the venues, the small venues I performed on my tour. It's going to be much larger and it's going to be really cool.
Yeah. One of the things I'm struck by listening to your records is your voice. I mean, people have compared you to Taylor Swift and Katy Perry, but when I hear you, I hear somebody who's got a lot of experience, a lot of life experience. Like you've been around the block. Like your voice sounds to me not like Taylor Swift. This is no shade on Taylor, but you sound like Janis Joplin to me, or Patsy Cline. If you know who Patsy Cline is, And they had these incredible voices that were raw with emotion because of the things that they had seen and the things that they had done. You already have that.
Okay, right off the bat, I kind of like this guy. I mean, if he's being sincere, I'm liking where this is going.
Where's that come from?
I don't know. I just, sing the words and see how it sounds and see how it turns out, I guess.
So when you're singing, are you emoting through your?
Again, I just want to say how frank she is. I mean, she's just like so calm. I don't know. Just kind of start and see where it's going to go, I guess. There's just no drama. There's no drama with Grace.
Singing, do you sense things from your childhood? I mean, I know you're young, but like from the things that you've experienced in the last 5 years.
No, it's more like when I write a song, it's like I just wrote like a little movie. Like I can picture it in my head. So while I'm singing, I just like watch the little movie of the song. Is that weird?
No, it's not, because I'm thinking of that song Gossip Girl. Gossip Girl, right? That's what it's called. Gossip Girl, I love how it begins with all the whispering. And tell me about the process in writing that song and what it means.
That song was really fun to write. I was just really hung up on this one really, really stupid thing that happened such a long time ago. And it was just getting ridiculous on how it was like still on my mind all the time. So I wanted to write a song about it, just like get it out of me and get it off my chest. And it actually turned out really good.
I like how she thinks that way. I found in much later years that I had to do that. If there was something niggling at me and it was causing my mind to keep going back to it, that's actually anxiety and stress, had to be dealt with. And here she was when she did Gossip Girl, she was 12 and thinking, I got to get this out. And how does she get it out? Into a gorgeous song. Truly amazing.
Is there a part of it that makes you, I'm guessing part of the song has to do with like you're famous now and you weren't before, and so when you go back to school, what's that like? You're not famous?
Famous is a very weird word.
What is weird about famous?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's definitely not me. I don't know. I think the word famous just sounds like just so biased. I just don't like the word.
You know. So what would you call somebody who's got?
I like that circumspection she's got. I don't know. Famous just sounds like a weird word. It's like, what is it really? Truly, what is fame? It's a huge number of people who like what you do, who are attracted to you. But at what point is there fame, and does it really matter? I just love how she's circumspect about that.
Millions of followers. And
well, I feel like there's like a bubble, right? And like it's like a spectrum of like all the like outside the bubble is the people who are just about to get in the bubble. That's almost like the famous bubble. Mm-hmm. In the middle of the bubble, that's like Taylor Swift, you know, like what are Beyonce, Rihanna, Kim Kardashian, like the really big celebrities, and you just slowly get further and further out the bubble. I feel like I'm almost on the line of the bubble and like right on the outskirts, and then the middle is just like so far away.
What would happen, do you think, to you?
Is that way too?
No, that's really interesting. I like how you're that aware of that bubble. And so the next question for me would be, you know, when you find yourself at that level, what do you think? How do you think you'll react to it? How do you prepare for that? How do you prepare for being?
I don't think there's any preparation. I actually think that's why America's Got Talent is so hard for people and hard on people, is because when you're working to be in the bubble and you're working so hard and doing everything you can, it's a slow process, and it's slowly happening, and it's less overwhelming. But with shows like that, it just hands it over to you, and it's really overwhelming because you never took those steps or that slow process to try and get on like the outskirts of the bubble.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really interesting. That's an interesting insight. I think for people who didn't perform much in public, I think that's definitely true. The great thing about Grace and her mom and dad and Olivia helping her, but her mom getting her out there on stage. For Grace, going on AGT wasn't a completely new experience for her. And so perhaps the transition perhaps she was grounded and the transition wasn't quite as stark.
Yeah, it makes sense. Let's talk about America's Got Talent. Your mom entered you, and unbeknownst to you, you didn't know that you were entered.
Well, she didn't like enter me into the show. Like when you sign up, you just sign up to be on the open call audition. So we just thought it'd be like a fun, like bonding thing to do and like wait outside the line, and we just thought it would be a fun experience.
Oh my God. So it was all about having fun in the line. It wasn't necessarily getting on AGT and winning the damn thing. I just love how she takes things moment to moment.
We would never, in a million years, like sign up to be on the show.
But you signed up for the audition.
Yeah.
And what was that like, that first time you stepped out into that audition room?
Oh my gosh, it was so crazy. And like there were other people in the room. So like they brought groups in. Wow. So like it was so nerve-wracking because they were really, really good. I was in the singers group and they were really, really good singers. And like, so we were just like watching each other. It was so nerve-wracking. I don't know what would be more nerve-wracking, to be going there alone or to be in the group. But I kind of feel like the group was more nerve-wracking.
Yeah. And then you killed it.
I don't think I did. I thought I did so bad. But then I kept getting called in different rooms and to sing more. And I remember calling my dad and my sister afterwards with my mom. We're like, oh my God, they call me into so many rooms. I think I'm going to get on the show. This is crazy. Yeah.
and then you won it.
Yeah, who would have thought?
I think a lot of people, as soon as they saw you, thought, this person can go all the way. Simon Cowell said you're the next Taylor Swift. How do you feel?
I just get so tired of hearing that. I wish Simon hadn't said it. I mean, obviously it shows that Simon truly has an eye for original talent, for great talent. Good on Simon. But I am so tired of hearing that phrase. She is so different. Yeah, maybe she'll get inside the bubble one day, whatever. She doesn't care. But man, I get tired of hearing that. Oh my God.
About that.
It's an amazing compliment. Actually, at first, when I was on the stage in the moment, I thought that he said, you remind me of Taylor Swift, or you're like Taylor Swift.
Huh.
And
I did not know that. I didn't know she misheard that. Wow.
Told my dad that when we went backstage, oh, he said I'm like Taylor Swift, and then we rewatched it, and then it sounded completely different than what he said on the TV. It was crazy.
So it's interesting that people have compared you. Even I did. I compared you to Janis Joplin. But how would you describe your music and your sound?
Good question.
That's a good question. I don't really get asked that question. I don't know. I feel like each song is really, really different than the other. Because I don't think I really know my exact style yet or my sound yet. So that's actually what I'm hoping for this next album, is to have more of a rounded sound and a known sound, you know what
I'm glad she doesn't have false expectations in her mind about how she's supposed to sound. I'm glad she takes it moment to moment and just enjoys the experience of life.
I mean, sound like I know what I want my style to be.
One of the songs you're working on is going to sample Johnny Nash.
Yeah.
And I love Johnny Nash. I Can See Clearly Now, but that's clearly my generation.
Were you alive in the 70s?
Sadly, I was.
How old are you?
I'm probably older than your parents.
She's switching it around. I love how Grace does this in the interviews. She doesn't allow the interviewer to be the only interview. It's not just about what the interviewer wants. It's about what Grace wants from the experience. It's like her wanting to stand in the line at AGT for the experience of other people and being there. She's like, were you around in the 70s? I just love how she's always exploring. And it's about her experience. It's not just about the other person's experience. It's extraordinary.
I'm almost 50. I'm 48.
What? My dad's way older than you.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I was born. Yeah, I'm
You're
like,
pretty young.
I love this. This is great. I wish I
You
could interview
remember
more
it?
people. Yeah.
He doesn't sound that old. He sounds like he's 33 or something.
Crazy.
So when
That's so cool. See, I like meeting people who remember it because I cannot relate to that whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah, I remember from the TV.
So you saw it on the commercial.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's just, I mean, to me, that song is great because there's a whole bunch of things, there's a whole bunch of reasons why I think that song is so cool. And I also remember as a child, I mean, the song, Johnny Nash, that song probably came out in 1969. I was born in 69, so I would have heard it when I was maybe 5 or 6. But I remember at that age thinking, this song's awesome. And I've loved it ever since.
Things last longer from when they're released.
Right, but I just remember the music being really great, and even I was a child. So I'm guessing that it was probably much the same for you. You heard it and you thought, this is really cool, this song.
Yeah, it was so cool, and especially with the new words. I related to it a lot, and I thought it was beautiful words, especially Johnny Nash's words.
And so now it's going to be you're incorporating it into your music.
Yes.
What's that song about?
The song or Johnny Nash's
song?
Well,
not Johnny's song, but the one that you're going to sing.
I think the song is a what would I say? I don't know what's a word for realization.
A realization.
No, but I don't want to use the word epiphany. All right, whatever. It's
I love how she says that. I don't want to use that word. What's another word for it? And then he repeats it back. But she just doesn't compromise on any expressive aspect of her soul. No, I don't want to use that word. Very frank.
a realization song, almost of all of the unneeded things in life, and at least that's how I relate to it. I feel like it's such a open song where really a lot of people could relate to it in different ways, because the way I relate to it is going to be completely different to the way you relate to it, which is another reason why I really like it.
Yeah. And you've sung Billie Holiday's Stormy Weather. Now that's really before my time, but Billie Holiday's
before almost all our times,
right.
Probably.
But Billie Holiday's music has stood the test of time because when people listen to her voice and her lyrics, they can hear the pain and suffering that she's gone through in her life, and it fuses her music. You have a lot of those similar qualities in your voice, but you haven't lived a life like Billie Holiday's.
Thank you. No. I've been so blessed through my.
You notice how many times she says thank you, and it's so sincere. That's already her second. Well, I think it's her second or third time already. But when his compliments seem genuine, but she just says thank you, and the way she says it is so endearing. It's so sincere.
Life, and I've lived a great life, and I definitely have not seen probably anything even near what she has in her lifetime, and I think that it was beautiful how she pulled that into her music, and it means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Can you say that?
What drew you to her?
I don't know. I think that, you hear her everywhere. You hear her in restaurants and diners and stuff like that, and so I think that we all know who she is, and I think it's just because she's always around. She's always been around, and she's always going to be around in the future as well, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe like you.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let's talk ukulele. I just came back from Hawaii. I just landed from Hawaii yesterday.
You did?
So, yeah, I was in Hawaii.
That's so
and
cool.
and so
there's ukuleles everywhere.
Everywhere,
right?
everywhere. And I actually took, when I was there in December on vacation, I took a little ukulele class.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
cool.
it's a pretty cool instrument. And I played the guitar for years, and this was kind of a new thing for me. What drew you to the ukulele?
We had a friend from Brazil stay at our house, And ukuleles are very, very popular now, but they've only really like gotten super popular in like the past year and a half. Maybe it's gotten so fast in such short time. But I was 11, so it was like just about a year, or 10, sorry, just about a year before that. So it wasn't super popular, but I knew it from like 21 Pilots and stuff.
Oh, right.
But anyways, she came to our house and she had a ukulele from Brazil. And yeah, I really liked the way it looked and sounded.
But we're in a living room where we're surrounded by pianos, a drum set, guitars.
This is actually where I learned my first song on the ukulele.
Really?
Yeah.
On the ukulele here?
Yeah. Like she was sitting right there and she like looked up the ukulele chords for me.
Wow. Who was?
Oh, the friend.
The friend.
Yeah.
That's a great story. Girl from Brazil sitting right there while Grace is trying the ukulele for the first time.
And you just learned it that quickly?
Well, it's so easy. It's such an easy instrument. I played it really bad, but at the time I thought it sounded like a Mozart.
And why did you decide to make it like sort of your primary instrument?
I don't think it wasn't really a decision. I think it just kind of slowly became my favorite, and it's been my favorite since.
How do you want your music to evolve?
I want my music to evolve to become more me. I want it to more.
Wow, I just love the way she said that. I want my music to evolve to become more me. What a great way to look at that.
I want it to, like, what's the word? Not represent, but like show me more, I guess, in my music and style. I definitely want my style to evolve more as well. But I don't know. I think I'm just gonna like keep writing and just see where it goes.
Who are some of the influences that you have? I mean, we've talked Billie Holiday, we've talked Taylor Swift, and you've talked about this bubble.
This guy does ask really good questions. This is a good interview so far.
And certainly there's a balance between the music and the fame. Who do you sort of would like to model yourself after?
I don't really have any like musical I just kind of
Thank you.
I just kind of write and just say words.
This is a good interview. I'm loving what the questions and what's coming out of Grace. I don't really have any musical inspirations. She just writes and sees what comes out and goes with it.
And then it kind of slowly molds itself into a song. I never really think about, very, very rarely do I think about a specific sound or something. And if I do, it always kind of ends up bad or...
This is Grace. I mean, she doesn't put herself in a box. Just lets it go. And doesn't have any expectations, not only on lyrics, but on sound. Not right and like forced. But that's kind of it. Yeah, I just kind of like write the words and it just kind of makes itself, I guess.
So unique. You're unique. You don't want to be seen or compared to anybody else.
Everyone's unique.
No, you're right.
Ooh. Wow, that was fast. So you're unique. You don't want to compare yourself to anyone else. Everyone's unique. Grace flashes back, shoots back. I mean, that one was even a little bit biting, the way she did that. She's obviously thought about that a lot, but it's like, this is going to be stressed right now. Everybody is unique. Wow. Wow, that was fast. She's so candid, so frank. I just love her personality. Wow.
Everybody is unique, and yet many times this business tries to put artists in a certain category or in a certain genre. And
he's trying to regroup. Listen to him. She shot back so fast, he's having to defend himself. He just got the Grace bullet. You know, it was just a wounding bullet. It wasn't a murderous bullet, but it was a wounding bullet. It's like, okay, regroup a little bit.
Do you want to defy those genres? Do you want to defy those categories?
I think that's a really hard thing to defy. Yeah, that's what you said?
Yeah, like to go against it. To go against this idea that you should sound like or be like somebody.
Because I think that it's all really good intentions if you think about it, because they're just trying to... The industry is very organized. Nothing is out of...
What a perspective. Have you ever heard an artist say that the industry has good intentions? I don't believe I've ever heard that. Well, I heard a producer back in the late 60s. I saw an interview of him. It was actually Frank Zappa, actually, the musician Frank Zappa. And he said the industry goes after what they think is best, whether you like it or not. So he's the only other artist I've ever heard say it that way. It's so profound that she understands that. She doesn't hold a grudge against the industry for wanting what it wants. Wow.
Of place or unnameable. Sorry, that was my dog.
Okay.
But I think that there's a reason for that, and I don't really know that reason, but I definitely know that it's a good enough reason to organize it. And I think sometimes everything's so like going fast, and I think sometimes they just try to, if they can't pinpoint someone, just force them into something really quick just to make sure everything stays organized and stuff like that. And I don't know, I think I've experienced this, but definitely not as much as other artists. And I don't think it's a huge thing. I think it would just be like, oh, not really, and just like, I think you definitely have the power over anyone else to switch that little thing.
Just be you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She thinks that that an artist definitely has the power to say no. This is something I've actually said many times, not just with musicians, but with also actors and actresses. You can say no. You can walk. It's one reason why I don't like the Me Too movement, to be frank with you. People can say no. You can say no. You don't have to get on the dressing room couch. You can say no and walk out. Yeah, could it end your career? Maybe. Would you have to go someplace else and try again? Maybe. But she is saying that the artist is, when it comes down to it, in total control. They can say, this is what I want. Wow. 14 years old. Wow.
And your talent, I mean, your mom was showing me videos of you when you're like 3, and every parent's got videos of their children singing. But what I'm struck by, and this is not because I'm not a parent, as my mom would probably suggest, but the videos that I see of parents showing me their children singing, the kids are cute, but they're not like on pitch, or they're not in.
What are you talking about? I was not on pitch.
Yes,
at 3.
you are.
No, I know the exact videos you're talking about.
I'm not exaggerating. I actually remarked that.
I sound like a 3-year-old.
Well, that's true, but you sound like you can sing.
Yeah.
Well,
I like this guy. I like this guy. I like how he regroups. I like how he stands his ground. Grace is a hard person to stand your ground to. If you watch the videos with Grace and Olivia, they go back and forth. I mean, it's just like, she's a confident, strong person, and I like that quality.
I don't know.
I mean, that's a huge difference.
I was just copying High School Musical.
I know, but you did it really well. Yeah, I was like, I turned to your mom and I'm like, wait, this is not a typical 3-year-old singing, because you're usually ouch.
But maybe that's just because now you have the idea of me in your head, so now you're changing your thoughts on the video, and you
listen to her analyzing his psychological intentions on the comment, and she's doing it sweetly, but she's probing. Is he being disingenuous? She's looking for authenticity. Wow.
hear it differently.
I'm a curmudgeon. I kind of like, I'm one of those, I'm the uncle who's like, if my nephews do something and it stinks, I'm like, this stinks.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, because I'm like, and that's what my parents and my sisters are like, you need to have kids so that everything that they do you'll love. So no, if I saw something.
I love everything toddlers. It's so cute. I was just in art class and this toddler made the ugliest necklace I've ever seen, but it was adorable because a toddler made it.
But still ugly?
It was adorably ugly. I would wear it.
Adorably ugly. Oh my God, that's so funny. I'm really liking this guy. He's the curmudgeon who tells kids that their stuff is ugly. That's funny.
Adorably ugly. I will remember that, Grace. I'm going to use that. But you hear my point, right? Which is that I was pretty blown away that you were not only were you just singing like in perfect pitch, but you were also like performing and without any kind of hint of reservation. Like, did you, in your mind, even then, if you look back and you look at those videos, did you think to yourself that this is exactly where you wanted to be?
No, I think at the time I didn't really understand that there's singers. I didn't understand that Gabriella from High School Musical wasn't Gabriella. I thought she was Gabriella. Like, Gabriella is a real person and she's out there with Troy right now. Like, that's what I thought. So I didn't really think that, I don't think that I thought, oh, I want to be a singer. I think I more thought I want to be Gabriella. You know what I mean?
That's cool. I do indeed. So then define for me in your mind how you think about performing and singing.
What do you mean?
Like you.
Great question from him and great return question from her, because I wasn't really quite sure what he meant. And what does Grace say? What do you mean? Beautiful.
There is a performance that goes into what you do when you're on stage there, and there's thousands of people that are watching you, and then there's your music and what you write and how you say what you say. But when you're on stage, are you cognizant of the thousands of people that are watching you?
Well, of course I am. But also I think you need to
Frankly Grace. Well, of course I am.
Figure out your balance, because if you think too much about that there's people around and how you're singing and looking and performing, I think that it won't be a good performance. But then on the other hand, you can't just be in your own world and not give any attention or anything. And I think especially throughout this tour that I've been on, it's about finding that balance of being aware of where you are, but also letting yourself go into that other world for a little.
There are people who studied religions and philosophy and Buddhism for like hundreds of years and are not able to define what you just sort of defined there.
Thank you. God, liking this guy more and more all the time. I mean, he's really good. And he is exactly right. I was going to stop it and say that, but it just seems so obvious. But what he said is right. I mean, she's 14 saying this.
Which is like, the idea of not forcing things, right? Just letting it flow.
If it's forced, it's bad. And I've learned that so much. There's so many songs that I've written that are so forced, and they're just bad, so they don't go anywhere.
I wish I'd met you when I was 14, because I would have saved myself a lot of heartache. But no, that's really interesting that you already feel that way, that, trying to force your music, your style, your performance is somehow, not only is it inauthentic, it doesn't work for you.
Absolutely. I feel like there's like a sense that it's like when you feel someone staring at you, like no matter how real you try to make it sound, like people will be able to hear it. Like, and even though it might not literally sound like, I'm being forced to do this, like you can hear when something's not right or not natural or forced or something.
Authenticity.
That's how I feel. Yeah. Like I can hear a song and think they're not being themselves, they're forcing this.
How do you avoid that when you're in the studio?
Be yourself.
Just don't force things. Like, don't think about anything. I think if you think about things, it ruins it. Like, think about, oh, will people like this? Will this get on the radio? Will this do good? Like, you just have to write the words.
Yeah.
She's just so freaking grown up. And this dichotomy of a grown-up mind, an old soul, like Grace, in a young, sweet, funny person is, I find, riveting, extraordinarily I'm extraordinarily curious about this kind of person, whether it was Grace or anybody else, frankly. But the fact that she's also a genius songwriter, singer just adds to it.
What's touring life like at your age?
So fun.
Is it?
Yeah, except school. School sucks on tour.
I think it's safe to say school sucks generally.
No, I love school.
Do you?
What are you talking about? Yeah, I love school.
So you love school, like going physically to...
I love school. I don't like the work at school.
Yeah, I feel
I
it.
think that's how most people
I
do.
feel it, yeah.
Like she likes to be in the line at AGT. She likes the experience, and she likes the experience of school, but not the school work.
Well, so just describe life on tour.
It's really fun, you know. It's just like there's not much to describe because it's just really boring most of the time, but it's like fun boring.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pizza, a lot of like video games, TV, but that's kind of my dream.
Have you gotten to the point where you're like, you probably are too young to know this, the Van Halen writer, like no brown M&Ms? Your team is probably looking at me like, don't tell her that.
No, I will never ever get to that point.
Really? I'm going to hold you to that, Grace Vanderwaal. What if we...
He's talking about. Okay, I didn't get that at first. He's talking about drugs, the brown M&Ms. I'm kind of glad he put it that way, in a funny way. She's like, oh no.
When you're like, you know, I'm going to come back and say, hey, remember when you said that you were not going to have a rider in your contract?
500 green M&Ms.
Right. It's not going to happen?
In a specific glass bowl.
See, but you're already thinking about it.
I am really thinking about it right now, actually. But no. I will never, ever, ever, ever. I will never let my... And I've told people, like, if I ever get like that, just, like, punch me in the face and say, Grace, at 14, you said that you'd never do this. And
we're having this on tape, so,
rat.
yeah. But here, it's a serious question. I mean, of the artists and the singers that you like, is there anything that you see as a cautionary tale?
What do you mean?
I mean...
Yet again, she says, what do you mean? I thought that one was pretty straight, but she wants a little bit of clarity. That's what, her third or fourth or fifth time she said, what do you mean? I mean, I've never seen an interview with an artist, musician, actor, whatever, who said, what do you mean? Maybe once, maybe twice. This is already her fourth or fifth time. This is really impressive. Wow.
Billie Holiday is a cautionary tale, right? Somebody who was an amazing singer, had an amazing voice, was an amazing talent, but because of drugs and alcohol and other things, you know, her life ended, you know, in tragedy. She died very young. There's others that have, Janis Joplin, we talked about Janis. There's been Amy Winehouse is another one. Kurt Cobain. There's so many artists that have, you know, have achieved success at a very young age, and for whatever reasons, you know, things happen and they're not able to fulfill their potential.
Okay, before Grace answers, I just want to say I'm really curious to see how she's going to answer this.
What do you see as a pitfall?
I think that it's just about surrounding yourself with the right people. It's not really about, I think, because they're not thinking, those people aren't thinking, oh, I'm gonna do drugs and ruin my career. You know, like that's very frank, but it's true. Mm-hmm. And you're not thinking that way. And I think it's less about the way you're thinking about yourself and more about the people surrounding you who can step up and say those kinds of things. And I think that it's like the classic, you know, the like child star syndrome, you might say, of like, you know, getting famous and
I just want to say real quick, I do agree with Grace that it's a lot about surrounding yourself with the right people, but I think you got to be the right person to know how to surround yourself with the right people. It starts with the individual being serious about their life, which Grace obviously is. Anyway, I just wanted to say that.
And going crazy and stuff, like it's the classic thing. Like everyone knows about it. And I just think it's about good family, surrounding yourself, because when you look at those people and you look further into their life, it wasn't oh, let's just go on stage and sing. Like most of those people had family issues, home issues. They weren't with the right people, they weren't with the right label, they weren't working with the right people who were pushing them to do certain things they didn't want to do. And that forces someone to want to cope. And if you don't, and then it's just one thing after another, because then if you don't have good people around you, you want to cope. If you don't have good family around you, you don't know how to cope. And then some random person might tell you, I know how to help you. And then all of a sudden you're spiraling out of control.
Wow, she's obviously thought through that. That was impressive.
You know, people have called you an old soul, and man, they're right. I mean, you have this this awareness.
Okay, I need a moment there. That was good. I mean, I know I've said it, a lot of y'all have said it, but that was the perfect point at which to say, after that soliloquy by Grace on the cautionary tale, that was a good place to put that. That was an old soul talking right there. Good on him.
This sense of self that is just uncommon in I don't want to sound like I'm throwing shade on Generation Z, but like it's rare that
I know what you mean. Thank you. I just
thank you.
I don't know. I just feel like people it's not about like being an old soul. I think just people need to just think a little more. That sounds wrong, but I think just my generation just needs to like think a little further.
Yeah. You talk about your family. How important are they to what you do and how you...
Okay, I got to stop it just for a second on that. I wasn't going to stop it. But that's just so incisive. People just need to think a little bit more. Like Grace obviously does. Think a little bit more about their life, who they are, what they want to be. Just think, stop and think. And get off the merry-go-round.
You see your career developing?
Very important. I would lose my mind if my family weren't with me.
Do you like having them on tour?
I do. My mom goes on tour with me because my dad works and my sister has school and my brother lives away, and it's like all these things. But I love my mom on tour.
Yeah.
Of course, she's my mom.
Yeah. Are they big music fans?
I'd say they're normal. Like it wasn't like crazy, you know.
What did they listen to? Anything that like
my dad liked Sting a lot. I don't know.
I mean, everybody loves Sting. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I guess. No,
you don't?
It wasn't. Well, I've heard him like 10 million times, so. No, but like I guess it was just normal. Like it wasn't anything.
That sounds like a real dad though. Like dad loves Sting, so he plays it whenever he's like chilling out. You know.
Yep. Playing Sting all day, all night.
Is there anything about Sting's music or even the Police that you kind of like?
The Police? What does that mean?
Oh my God, she doesn't know Sting was the lead singer of Police. That is so freaking funny. She's not even paying attention with her dad's music.
The Police are like... The Police is the band that Sting was in before.
Oh, I didn't know that.
All right.
Listen to him laughing. Yeah, that caught him off guard like it did me. Oh my God. This guy's really funny.
Sting, he was in the Police. He was the
That's a weird band name.
It's a weird band name.
Love it. It's like I had my nephew who said to me, I said I saw Paul McCartney and he played a lot of Beatles songs. And he was like, "What's the Beatles?" And I just love that.
What?
Like, yeah, because I mean, the joke is that your dad's listening to Sting and he loves Sting and
No. I literally only know this one song that he always plays on the speakers, and it's that song that is like the Indian-inspired song. What song is that? How does it go? Sorry, I'm looking at my mom.
Yeah, no,
I'm
what is
trying
it?
to remember.
Which song is it?
How does it go again? Ma.
I can't remember the words of it, but
I can't either. But it's of course the second. I could always just say it off the top of my head, because oh my God, this song is always on repeat. It's so annoying.
Your dad can tell them later.
Love it.
If you go into our living room, I'll show you. We have the CDs, and it's like
Heavy rotation.
We have a couple Sting CDs that's just always on repeat.
That's awesome. So, all right, let's finally just talk about this tour with Imagine Dragons. I mean, are you familiar with their music and what they do?
Of course, they're always on the radio.
Yeah. Do you like them?
Of course.
Yeah.
I love their songs. Actually, my dad actually really, once again, I know I'm like talking about my dad a lot right now, but my dad actually really likes them even before this. And like, my dad's really funny. He's like really corny. And I was like, hey! And like, like do and like do the songs. He'd be like
air drumming?
Yeah, like doing that, because you know how they always have like the really big like drums and stuff.
Yeah.
And so like he would always do that. And so when we got the offer about they're thinking about having it on tour, and we were freaking out, and like I looked straight at my dad, because like my dad's not like a fan of them, but he is always like singing their songs and stuff. Yeah, it's really funny.
That is cool. You tell them that?
Tell who?
The Imagine Dragons guy.
I've never met him.
Oh, you haven't met him yet?
No. Oh my God, it's crazy.
I interviewed them at the.
And I'm going on tour with
Grammys.
them.
I know, that's cool. That's so great. They're really cool. I mean, I did a short interview with them on the
Family
carpet
guys.
there. They're very cool, very family oriented. So it does sound, though, listening to you talk about your dad, that a little bit of your performance, your performing ability, if your dad, what do you say?
Definitely not. No.
Tried to give Dad a little credit.
Sorry,
here,
Dad, but no, like karaoke nights when we're on vacation.
But where do you guys do karaoke?
Oh, like, when you're on vacation and then like the vacation resort bars like have the karaoke nights. My dad loves karaoke. My dad is obsessed with karaoke. So he's like, it's karaoke night tonight. We gotta go. And we always go, and he'll always sing like he sings
California.
Hotel California. Yes. Hello.
I didn't think her dad was that open and everything. I mean, he seems like a really, really nice, sweet guy, but he actually loves to do karaoke. That's a good little snippet.
Always sing Hotel California. Welcome to the Hotel California. Yeah, and then like when the guitar solo comes up, and they're like,
Air guitar.
I mean, Grace, anybody who's listening to Hotel California has to air guitar that solo.
yes.
You have
But
to too.
no one does it like my dad. Hopefully.
I think we need to see a performance. When Dad comes in here, we're going to ask for that. That's great. And so, what do you sing when you do karaoke?
What do I sing Sweet Dreams with my sister. The sweet dreams are made of these.
Eurythmics.
Oh, yeah. I only know that one song. That's why I had no idea what you're talking about.
That's so funny. My daughter found that song herself and loves it. That's so cool.
Yeah, me and my sister like singing together.
You're making me feel, on one hand, you're making me feel really young because I feel like we like some of the same things, and on the other hand, you make me feel really old because you're like the police.
Well, I'm 14. You're an adult.
Hear that, Mom? I'm an adult. So, all right. So I just want to set the vibe for karaoke. You do Sweet Dreams with your sister, the Eurythmics.
Yeah.
How did you where'd you learn that song?
Oh, my mom loves it.
Aha.
Yeah, my mom loves that.
See, that's
song.
what I'm trying. That's where I'm driving at.
There
like,
you go.
Yeah.
You're getting the answers out of me.
You're getting the answers, like the Eurythmics. Your mom and now you like that song too.
I don't.
I like how she did that just then. There you go. You're getting the answers out of me. Completely relating to him and his perspective. Love how Grace does that.
Listen to that song. It's just a great karaoke song. Sorry if that made people.
All right.
You're very supportive of the arts in school, especially as it relates to young children, elementary school children. Why?
Well, I just think the school that we're focusing on right now for the Little Miracles is very, really a couple blocks down, and so I've grown up watching this school and watching them slowly get music taken away, art taken away, and it was just so unfortunate to see. And so when this happened to me, and this blessing happened to me, because obviously I never really knew how to help, I was very excited to help out, and because you might think music never really impacted me from my elementary school years, but I feel like it subconsciously does. And you go home and play the recorder. I played the recorder in 4th grade, and I really liked it, even though I sounded horrible. And it's just also memories. We all have memories of those embarrassing choir concerts and stuff like that. And every kid should have that, and it's not fair if they don't.
What do you say to people, politicians who choose to cut funding for programs, specifically music programs?
I hope he doesn't get political with this stuff.
Programs that help children.
I understand, and I think a lot of people refuse to understand, but with any argument you have to look at the counter as well, and I understand.
Wow. Goodness gracious. She is extraordinary in her immediate reflection on a point and seeing both sides of an issue. Man, I didn't get that till I was in my middle 20s. I mean, seriously get that. That's impressive.
And they need education as well, but when it comes to what we're focusing on Little Miracles is cutting arts and stuff really for not the best reasons and not really needed reasons as well, and that's not fair. You know, it's not fair. Like you had that memory, you got to experience that as well. Everyone should be able to have that opportunity.
So talk to me a little bit about what you're doing for the Little Miracles program.
So what we're doing, it's actually Little Miracles is a choir, a show choir, and they just had their first show. They're really, really great. So basically what we're doing is we're working to get music back in, and we got the show choir, and they're so cute, they're so good, and like they did the dancing, and the dancing's really good, and they just seem like they're having fun, and like that's the main thing, and like making friends and bonding.
You know what's crazy is these kids that she's talking about with Little Miracles, and I did a reaction on the Light the Sky that Grace governed them through about a month ago, I think, or a little bit less. But what's crazy is that those girls, and I think it's all girls, maybe there were some boys in there, I think it was all girls, but anyway, they're not much younger than Grace. I mean, they're about 8 to 12 years old, I think, maybe even 13. I mean, some of them are almost Grace's age, maybe even Grace's age, a few of them. And here Grace is coming in here and mentoring these kids. Just wow.
You know, people bond, I feel like, the most with music and dancing and such.
Do you think that music is a bridge for people like you and I? We're bonding over
Absolutely.
our...
It's the universal language. You know, you look
It is.
anywhere in the world and they always have some sort of music, and it's because no matter who you are or where you are, what language you speak, whatever, it
14 years old, and she's talking about the universal language as if it's something that's just a throwaway line.
it touches you, and music, it touches you somewhere in your heart, and you know, everyone in the world, you can see that.
You're also going to Africa? Did I hear that?
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
I'm leaving tomorrow.
So where in Africa are you going?
Kenya.
Okay, and what are you doing there? Because I was based in Africa for a number of years.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm so excited. With Starkey is a foundation that gives out hearing aids, and it was a crazy story on how I even got here to go to Africa, but it's like the longest story ever. But yeah, it was just a crazy coincidence. I don't even know how it happened. All of a sudden, by the end of the night, they're like, "You're going to Africa." So I'm so excited, and basically we're going to go there and for deaf people and children and give them hearing aids, and it's going to be really beautiful.
How long are you going to be there?
About a week and a half, I
Yeah.
think.
Wow.
You've never been, obviously.
No.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
I'm so excited.
How exciting is that to be? I mean, you've got so much happening in your life, but yet you're 14 and you still have school, you still have homework, but you're going to Africa, you're going on tour with Imagine Dragons. How do you sort of stay on top of it all?
I don't. I'm always falling behind and doing whatever, and then also just to keep my sanity, I just don't think about that stuff. Like, don't think I'm going on tour with Imagine Dragons and going to school and singing and writing, and like, if you think that stuff, then you've set that expectation that it's too much in your like brain. Like, you've made yourself think that.
That's extraordinary that she does that. I do that, actually, and I'm quite a bit older than Grace, but I do make plans, but then I don't sit around and fret about those plans. I'll organize or whatever, but if it's going to be something that's going to entail a lot of energy and a lot of work, I already know that. I know it's going to, so why fret about it? But it took me years to get that, and Grace is just nonchalant in the fact that that's how it's done.
You know?
Yeah, I do. I really do. This has been so much fun. Thank you so much. I mean, we have some more stuff to do, but I want to play the guitar with you. You can show me. I'll play 2 or 3 chords, and you play a little ukulele, and we'll try to make some music.
Sweet.
Can I?
Of course.
I probably don't give me any complicated chords. But
I like how he just said, "Can I?" I mean, he's not treating Grace like a child, like you would a small child. He's treating her as an equal. Can I? Of course, she says. This is an equal on equal interview, which I think everybody's got to do with Grace. Impressive.
There are no complicated chords on the ukulele.
Well, I'll accompany you on the guitar, and then you play the ukulele. And then,
Okay.
Can we try?
Yeah.
All right.
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this is you've got a Fender ukulele here, and they're coming out with the signature model for you.
Yes.
That's so crazy.
It's cool.
That's so cool. Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
Have you spoken to them about the things? Generally, I think what they do is they talk to the artist and they say, "What do you like? What kind of woods do you like?" So what'd you tell them?
Well, I don't really know anything about wood or anything, so I was just like, they're pretty when they're shiny and like stuff like that. No, but I just got the sample and it looks really beautiful.
Is that it?
This is not the sample.
Okay, but that's pretty. Congratulations. I mean,
It is this.
Oh, there you go.
Pretty good. Pretty good. And she's the youngest to have this.
I was gonna say, right? Like,
Oh, Jesus.
well, I can already just see from here. It's sort of a beautiful. Like, I mean, I can just
Whatever you
tell
want
the
to
wood
see.
is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, the wood is very, very nice, and it's really beautiful. One, two. Oh, 1, 2. No, I can't do that. Ready?
Yeah.
I don't know my name.
I just gotta stop it for a second. Goodness gracious. The way she squeals. No, I'm gonna back it up. I gotta hear it again.
It's really beautiful.
One.
1, 2. Oh, 1, 2. No, I can't do that. Ready?
Yeah.
I don't know my name. I don't play by the rules of the game, so you say. I'm just trying. Oh, you're even doing the cool thing. Just I go fast. So I heard you are my sister's friend. You get along quite nicely. You asked me why I cut my hair and changed myself completely. Now you know I don't. It's just that all the way through. I'm a big fan of tempo changes.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was. That was really well done. They mixed well together. He did a nice accompaniment.
Oh man, I got to play with you. That's so cool.
Very cool.
I mean,
You guys can learn too.
Is that so? What was that song? I don't recognize it.
You didn't recognize that song?
No, sorry.
That was the first song I ever sang.
Really?
Like,
What's it called?
Got Talent and stuff. I don't know my name.
I don't know.
He did not know about I Don't Know My Name? Okay, that's just almost unforgivable for an interviewer on Grace. I mean, how much background did he do on her for this? Okay, this has been an extraordinary interview. But wow, it just makes me wonder sometimes when they bring in these reporters to interview an artist that they don't prepare them for momentous aspects of the life of the person they're interviewing. I mean, that's just almost unforgivable. He's done a great job, but that's hard to believe.
I don't know my name. Tell me. Well, I've listened to all your stuff, but I don't remember all the titles. Sort of like you don't remember Sing Song.
Yes. Now we're even. Because I didn't know Police.
Right, the Police.
The Police.
I love how your reaction was like, "That's a horrible name for like a band."
The band Police.
I know.
Just imagine being at the concert and be like, "The Police, the Police." Like, how would you dance that?
Oh my gosh, she's so funny. Imagine you're at the concert. The police. Wow, she's funny.
I'm sorry. I love it.
Yeah.
So that song that we just played, it was the first song you ever did in the studio? Is it the first song you ever recorded?
No, this is my audition song for America's Got Talent.
Oh, right. Okay. And well, that's I'm just honored that I got a chance to play with you.
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You too.
Did you have fun?
I did.
Yeah. I heard these can be kind of painful.
What?
Interviews? You get bored.
No.
You're all right. Can I come back to you in like 20 years and say, "Hey, Grace, you just played Madison Garden for the 50th time,
M&Ms,
right? You've got
interviews.
your EGOTs, and can I get an interview?" You're gonna be like, "Ugh, this guy again."
It's funny how she brings up the M&Ms to see if she did the M&Ms, the drugs. She's so funny.
No.
All right, we have it on tape. I'm going to come back and talk to you again.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Thank you, Grace.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You get the sense that so much.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you. And she's obviously sincere about how she says that.
Much of Grace's self-awareness was instilled from an early age. Her parents encouraged her to use her talents to give back. The day we met up with her, she was preparing to go to Africa with an organization to provide hearing aids for children.
Wow,
Of course she was.
She needed something else on her schedule.
She's amazing.
Okay, I don't want to listen to any more of that. Wow. I mean, just how do you put... I mean, this is already really long, so I don't want to say much else. And I said everything during it that I wanted to say. But it was almost in that interview. This guy's 48 years old, 48 or 49, I can't remember. And Grace almost comes across as the mature person in the interview. More mature. I should say more mature person in the interview. Together. Always together. And then these lightning bolts of humor. And then the candid, what do you mean? It's like she's always authentic and grounded, and she knows what she's looking for. Or if she doesn't, she's perfectly fine with waiting to find out what she wants. I mean, it's just an extraordinary personality. Really enjoyed this. Kudos to him for a good interview. Not kudos to him for not knowing I don't know my name. We'll let that slide. Anyway, I'm going to do more of these Frankly Grace series, just like I do Funny Grace. So Funny Grace and Frankly Grace. And I hope y'all stay for the whole thing. Let me know what you think. And I will catch you real soon. Take care of yourselves. I'll catch you real soon on the backside. Bye now.